let me first say that, as a man, I'm always accused of going after men, when it comes to the issues of relationships and marriage. And justifiably so, because I'm a man. I'm a man, I understand men better because I'm one. I can relate to men better because I'm one. And I think we just need to get to a point where even as men, we have serious conversations, apart from just playing around, apart from just talking about general things. Whereas there are areas in life which I believe we seriously need to pay attention to. And those areas being relationships and marriages. Gents, we are absent. We are absent. We are absent in relationships and marriages. Quite clearly, we just exist. To be honest with you, many of us just exist in marriages, and we discover this through the conversations that we have with married couples, or through the counselings that we have, and through so many areas, in this life that really shows that as men we don't really pay much attention when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships and marriages. And I'm not saying every man. I know that there are men who are hands-on. I know that there are men who are really present, but it is unfortunate that majority, basically, we just exist in relationships. We just exist in marriage, yet enjoying the benefits of being with a woman or being with a wife. And I feel like perhaps if we can just pay more attention to this particular matter, so that we can just help each other. Because I can tell you that a whole lot of issues can easily be resolved if we as men basically pay much attention, if we as men get involved, if we as men, fight for our rightful positions. And fighting, I'm not talking about you fighting a woman, but I'm talking about equipping yourself with knowledge, wisdom, with information, and surrounding yourself with the right people so that you can be able to do well in relationships and marriages. So I think we need to just engage. I know that in most cases we love to engage privately, because we feel like publicly, we don't have the right platforms, but in actual fact, we do have the right platforms. If you go through TikTok, you will realize that there's a lot of platforms which give men the opportunity to talk, the opportunity to express themselves, the opportunity to engage on issues which we believe we need to engage on. So I'm still extending an invitation to those that would love to join in. Please do join in so that we can just engage on this. Our absenteeism, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, in relationships, it's really creating a whole lot of wounds. It's creating some voids which needs to be filled. It's leaving our wives, our women stranded and frustrated because some don't even know how to approach us. They don't know how to discuss issues with us because we easily just sideline, we easily just maybe ignore them, we brush them off, or we even use terms like women are nagging and things like that. But how about we get to a point where we say, let's engage on these issues. Let me engage my wife. Let me engage my partner on this particular issue and try and figure out why we are not getting things done the way they're supposed to be done, or why is our relationship toxic. Why are we not in a position where we can be able to become one, where we can be able to work together with understanding and knowing that we can make it work. So this is one thing that it keeps troubling me, to be honest with you. It keeps troubling me, and you are asked, and babes, what's going on? What's in your mind? No, nothing. And the worst case is that you can see that we can feel each other, we can sense each other when we're not right. And that sometimes when your woman asks what's going on, she already sees that something is not right. But why do we find it easy to open up to other gents than to our own partners? Why do we find it easy to open up to strangers about issues, whereas those that we have not even tried to discuss with our women? Why is that? Why can't we just, engage with them? Why can't we create a safe space for ourselves in our relationships, where we can be able to talk to our women, where we can be able to engage on issues with our women? And I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of guys, this happens not only in relationships, even in marriage. There's a lot of guys who are just existing and allowing things to happen, even when they are not happy, but they just keep quiet. And the thing is, she is stubborn. She doesn't want to listen. She doesn't want to do this. But at the end of the day, was she stubborn from the onset? Was she not listening from the onset? Where exactly did you guys miss each other? And if so, what have you done to try and remedy the situation? Because I always ask that. What have you done to try and remedy the situation? Have you sounded an alarm? Are you a man who's a counselor to your wife? Are you a man who will seek help rather than leaving it to your wife to go and seek counseling? Because I can tell you that 98% of those who call us for counseling are women. And we've gotten to a point whereby we say, every time when I get a call like that, I'll say, I understand. Okay, no, that is fine. Please ask your husband to call me. And I can tell you that will be the last time I hear from that lady. But why is it not us husbands who are present in our marriages? Why is it not us guys who are present in our relationships so much that when something goes wrong, we are the first to sound an alarm? We are the first to say, hey, we need to make things work. Why is it that even when the house is burning down and there are hoses there, you can see there's a hose, there's water and everything, you just don't be the first one to take a step and say, I need to do that. I need to make sure that I put the fire down. Why can't we do that as men? And that on its own really shows that we are actually not present. We just exist in these relationships. We just exist in these marriages, but we are not present. We are not paying attention. We are really not vested in making sure that our relationships are healthy. Look, I think maybe it has a lot to do with upbringing, but my thing is, every time when I hear somebody saying, you know what, this is not how I was raised, my dad was not someone who talks, or my mom was talking too much and controlling everything, or this and that, I always say, but who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And how do you want your marriage or your relationship to be? If you were raised in that way and you can see that it's actually not conducive for your relationship, then why don't you do something? Why don't you try and find different ways to make sure that when you engage and you are present in it? instead of just frustrating your woman, instead of just making her feel like, she's not wanted, she's not needed, she just doesn't understand you. And here's the thing: even as a husband, sometimes we get to a point where we just want our women to we just want our wives to just understand us and support us and encourage us and pray for us. But they've got no idea what they're praying for. They have no idea what they're encouraging. They have no idea on even how to start to encourage us, because we are just so quiet. We are just so silent. We just exist. We just sit there and expect them to read our minds. I know that we actually not wired the same. But at the end of the day, if you see that something that you are doing, be it a behavior or conduct, it's not healthy for your marriage, you're going to have to make a decision to change it. You're going to have to make a decision to change it. And that decision has to start with you. Because how else is it going to work if it doesn't start with you? How else is it going to work? So I'm just thinking that we need more of a change of a mindset, and just figure out exactly who we are, who we want to be. I can tell you now, we can't keep, just frustrating our women with a behavior that is not really, really helping. We can't keep frustrating them, and we can't keep expecting them to understand things which they are not even expressed to them. We can't keep being in a position where we keep forcing them to be at a point where they feel like, I'm just alone in this relationship. I'm just alone in this marriage. And unfortunately, some have gotten to a point of accepting that, this is how my husband is. I've had a lot of talks with wives who believe that, hey, my husband is so quiet. And I was like, just leave him with me. Take a walk with my wife, or maybe just go buy something, guys. And then I want you to take your time. And then you come back and stand right there at the corner before you even knock at the gate, and just listen to the conversations and that I will be having with your husband, and tell me who will be the loudest. Because in essence, if men can fill up stadiums and make noise, if men can go to clubs and parties and scream to the top of their voices, then at home we can do the same. We can show the joy, we can show the happiness, we can create that space even in our homes. We can create that space even in our relationships. But why are we not doing that? Why is it so easy for us to give up over things in our relationships, but in everything else, we will make sure that we fight nonstop? At work, in business, you can fight for anything. You can fight for a deal. You can negotiate. You can turn tables around in a boardroom. But why is it that at home you feel like, no, I don't have to fight or argue anything? I know there are difficult women. I know that there are contentious wives. I know that there are those that are really difficult to live with or to engage with. But at the end of the day, what are you doing to remedy that situation? Because I can tell you now that your silence or your pure existence in the relationship is not fixing things, it's making things worse. That is exactly what it's doing. It's making things worse. Now, how can you change that? How can you as a man say, I need to create? Remember, we as men, we plant the seeds. We plant the seeds in our marriages. We plant the seeds in our relationships. And whatever we plant, it gets nurtured and multiplied and multiplied. So you have to think first as to what exactly am I planting in my wife? What exactly am I planting in my relationship, in my marriage? Is it healthy? Is it good? Is it going to help me to be the man or the husband that I'm supposed to be? Am I going to be happy to reap from this seed that I'm actually planting? Is it going to be good for me? Is it going to be good for me? Whatever fruit that I'm going to reap, is it going to be good for me? Because at the end of the day, I can tell you now that we withdraw easily as men when it comes to issues. We withdraw very easily. And we only do that in our relationships. Out there, we are bulldogs. We are pathfinders. We are as, relentless as can be. But why is it that when it comes to our relationship, we just let things happen? Why is it that when it comes to our marriages, we just allow things to happen because, my wife is stubborn? So what if you're dealing with a stubborn employee? What if you're dealing with a stubborn business partner? What if you are dealing with anybody stubborn out there, whereby you're supposed to get some tasks done or carried through? What do? Do you just withdraw and say, this colleague is stubborn, so there is nothing I can do about it? Whereas it is affecting you directly. Why do we tend to put more effort out there than we do in our relationships? Why do we tend to give so much of our energy and thoughts and emotions, and everything out there, but we don't do the same in our marriages? Why are we just existing in our marriages? I know that you go out there, you fight and do everything, and when you come back, you want to come to a home that is filled with peace, with understanding, with warmth. But are you planting the seeds of peace? Are you planting the seeds of warmth? Are you planting the seeds that you're going to reap from? Are you planting the seeds where you're going to be comfortable, where you're going to be happy, where you can be yourself? Are you planting those seeds? So if maybe you are planting those seeds and you can see that they are not nurtured, what are you doing to make sure that you negotiate, you discuss, you debate, you argue? You can argue fair in a marriage, you can argue fair in a relationship, whereby your focus is basically on reaching a solution rather than to winning the arguments or to make somebody feel less important or inadequate. You can still do that. But why are we doing that? Why are we not getting ourselves involved in issues that affect us in our relationships? I remember there was a time where we were helping a certain couple with counseling, and over things which I believe could have easily been resolved. But I realized that we are actually not, because something might be simple for me and is difficult for you, or it's simple for you and is difficult for me. But when you hear it, and then you're like, oh, by the way, is that how things should be? And then I'm going to start doing it. But there are those things that should be more like common sense. There are those things that should be, you should just know them by virtue of being a husband or being in a relationship with someone. When you are in a relationship, there are certain things that you need to know. Unless if when you just go into relationships, with certain mentality and you don't understand exactly what is happening there. I ended up saying to the brother, after all that has been said, after all that we have done, now I was talking to him alone. I said, do you realize that if you had paid attention, if you had engaged your wife, I wouldn't have been here. It wouldn't be necessary for me to be here. I can't be in a position where, as a man who's got a wife, I can't come to your house and try to teach you how you should behave in your marriage, how you should treat your wife, how you should be faithful, how you should be committed, how you should pay attention to her, how you should do this and that for her. Because these are basic things. We're not talking about difficult things. We're talking about basic things. These are basic things. So do you see that it's simply because you were absent in these areas? And justifiably so, because a lot of our husbands, trust me, we are struggling with balance. We're struggling with balance, where we can balance work and we can balance home, where we can say, you know what, let us rather just, let me learn to give a 50-50 balance, or even a 30-70 balance. We are failing. And the reason we fail is because we feel like our effort should be put more out there. But when it comes to the house, things should just happen. It must just be automatic. Why should things be automatic at home, whereas wherever you are, in business and at work, it's manual? It's not automatic, it's manual. You have to commit yourself to making sure that tasks are actually realized or reached. They are done, they are carried over. But why is it that in the house, you have to be asked to help with the children? You have to ask to help with the house chores. You have to be asked to help with this or that. Why does it have to be that? Why do you feel the need to just come home and sit there and just do nothing? Why is that? Because we need to get to that point where we realize that we need to do things differently. If my wife is not happy about something, if my wife is, if I see that my wife wants help in certain things, I don't even have to wait until I am asked, but I just have to do it. I just have to be proactive. I just have to get in it. I just have to, even if you have to ask, love, do you need help? Love, because I know that there are wives who are very active, who are very energetic, those that don't want to see you resting at all. You know, whenever you rest, like they just feel like they can give you something. I know, I was raised by a mother like that. But at the end of the day, why can't we just be proactive? Let us do that. Let her be the one to say, just relax. I'm going to do this. Baby, I've got the cooking, I'm going to get done with it. But what I've noticed is that, especially with wives of today, they just love to do things with their husband. When she wants to cook, and you can see that she wants to cook something, you just need to get involved. Stand there, be ready. Even if sometimes you don't have to do anything, just you sitting on the counter, on the kitchen counter, while she's doing whatever she's doing, that can be the help that she needs. She just needs company while she's busy doing what she's supposed to do. And once again, guys, I'm actually extending an invitation. If you want to be part of the conversation, please, by all means, request, and then I'll just add you, and then we will engage on it, because we just need to give people the platform. We just need to give people the opportunity to engage and share, as to why certain things are not done, as to why they can't get involved. But I just feel like, as husband, we need to get involved. If you are loving your wife, you're loving your woman, you're loving your family, you're loving your children, you just need to get involved. Let me tell you something. Nobody has time. I know that we get to the point where sometimes we feel like, hey, I don't have time, I come from work tired. And that is the unfortunate realities of this life, where we give like 90% of our lives out there, but then we give 10% in our relationships and marriages, and at the same time expect them to work. That is such an unrealistic expectation. It can't be like that. It can't be. So imagine all your life, if you are someone who's in the corporate space, you will know that all your life, you are giving it to the corporate world. All your life, you are giving it to business. You don't want to hear anything, but you just want to come home, sit and do nothing, and things be done to you. That's it. How will that help your relationship? Is your wife happy with that behavior? Because I think another thing that we also need to engage on is the fact that we expect our wives to be at a certain level of commitment in the house, while We just want to get things done. Why? This is why many of our wives end up becoming like mothers to us. Because we just want to sit and do nothing and just receive whatever that we want to receive, and that's it. But then you wonder, then if that is the case, she's going to step into that motherly instinct. And she's going to want to mother you. She's going to want to say things to you. She's going to want to complain about you, because those are the things which she should be doing to the kids. But because you are now also coming and just behaving like a kid who's waiting for the mother to tell her everything, to tell him everything, and to ask for this, to still argue over that and this and that. Obviously, the motherly instinct in her is going to kick in, and she's going to start treating you like you are not the king that you're supposed to be, like you are not the man or the husband that you're supposed to be. I'm not saying that it is justifiable to do that. But imagine if you are a man who is just existing and you are not involved. Some guys don't even pay attention to where their women are mentally and emotionally. But all they want is the physical connection. It does happen. And I'm going to tell you, in most of the cases that we have dealt with where women withhold the sex, in most cases, you realize that it's simply because the man is absent in her mind and emotions, but he just wants physical fulfillment. That, in most cases, is what happens. It's what transpires. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, as men, we are good at complaining. That no, she doesn't want to give it up. She doesn't want to have sex with me. She hates it. She this and that. And even when there are women who hate it, there's always an issue behind that. There's always a reason behind that. And in most cases, that reason just need mental and emotional engagement. And she's expecting her husband to understand. It could be trauma. It could be an ordeal like rape. And whenever you engage sexually with her, she feels like, this is what is happening. Because, some guys, they just do it like it's wrestling. And now the way you're doing it, it's actually bringing those bad memories to her. It's like a replay. It's like, so she feels like I am being raped, whereas that is not the case. But it's simply because you don't get to understand where she is mentally and emotionally, and help her to overcome any ordeal so that she can give herself fully, so that she can give her mind, emotions, and body fully to you as a husband. You create a mental and emotional safe environment for her to excel in being the woman that you want her to be. We are so good at saying no, but it's my conjugal right. It's my godly right that I actually get this. She can't deprive me. Of course, it is your godly right, but at the same time, you need to understand that you need to take care of her mentally and emotionally. And I can tell you now, a lot of wives, a lot of my sisters, a lot of women in relationships, if you are a man who's involved in her mentally and emotionally, trust me, that is all they want. And she will just give herself in the best possible way that you could ever imagine. She can do that. But if you don't, you will keep on dealing with this woman on the surface, but not being able to really dig deeper to understand who she is, where she is, and how she's doing. Some of them are able to still continue to perform the duties in the house. Some of them are still able to continue being who they're supposed to be, but only to find that she's not fulfilled. And that is a very dangerous place to be, because one will feel trapped, one will feel unhappy, one will feel like they've got no way out because they are married, one will feel like, let me really just go with the motion, and that is the most dangerous place to be for your wife. The unfortunate part is you are there. Are you really paying attention? How often do you sit? Because we know that women are emotional beings, wives are emotional beings. How often do you sit and just ask her, where are you emotionally? Are you good? Are you comfortable? Are you still the wife that you imagine yourself to be? Do you feel that I'm giving you the support that you need? Do you feel that I am the man who is able to minister to you in a way that fulfills you? How often do we ask those questions? How often do we do? Or we just want to see things getting done. We want to see the food on the table. We want to see the house clean. We want to see the babies bathed. We want to have the sex. We want to eat. We want to do that. But do we really get involved as men? Do we get involved? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there are no difficult ladies to deal with. There are. But you need to do your part as a man. You need to do your part and make sure that you exhaust each and every area. Because remember, you are her head. There is a reason why God asked, Adam after Eve, fellowship with the snake. There's a reason why God asked Adam. Because God still respects his position of responsibility. God put it in place so that at least we can be accountable as men over things which are going to affect our marriages, our relationships. I can tell you now that there's a lot of men who are allowing things to happen in their marriages. They are not happy with these things, but they just let them happen. They are not comfortable with anything that is being done, but they are not doing anything. Or else they try to address it, and then if they get a rejection or they are told where to get off, they just leave it just like that. And I'm thinking to myself, why do you allow her to fellowship with the snake in your presence? Because at the end of the day, she's going to come back and say, but you let me do it. It's not about the issue of control. You're not controlling. Remember, you have to be accountable for your marriage. You are the man who's supposed to show that headship, that leadership, that counsel. You have to do that. But how do you then do it in silence? How do you do it while you're quiet? How do you do it without engaging? How do you do it? Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to learn to get involved. You're going to have to find ways to engage with your wife. You're going to have to find ways to engage with your stubborn wife, with your rebellious wife. Remember, this person is your wife, so you can't just let things be. You have to find ways. You have to sound the alarm. You have to seek help where now you're going to have to do that. But why do we just let things be? Why do we just let things be? Whereas anywhere else, we will give our 100%. Why is it that as men, we just choose to exist in our marriages and relationships, but we don't really pay much attention? While we are very active out there, while we are very engaged out there, while we can move mountains out there, but a simple leave me alone from your wife just sends you in that box where you feel like I'm never going to come out of this one. Why can't we find ways to seek help? Why can't we do that? Once again, I'm extending an invitation. If you feel that you want to be part of this talk and you want to engage, please, by all means, just request to join in, and we are going to talk about it. And this is not only limited to men. Ladies, let's talk as well. Let me hear your stories. Let me hear how you navigate through this whole thing, how you navigate through a man who is existing there, but he's actually not paying attention. A man who is just in your presence, but really not paying much attention to you, because it happens in many relationships and marriages. Worst in marriage, because you are there and you're going to have to face this person, you're going to be with this person, and at the same time you will be expected to carry out your responsibilities because you are the wife or you are the partner. You will be praying night and day, fasting for years and years, and things will not be changing. Why are we as men not able to engage, to be intentional about our relationships and marriages? Why are we not intentional about it? Like we are intentional about anything else. Like we are committed to making sure that we build and make money and do things out there. But why can't we do the same in our own relationships and marriages? Why are we relentless in issues out there, building other men's legacies and companies and everything, but we fail to just be present in our marriages? We don't build it. We expect everything to fall on our wives. It can be a wife who is working. It can be a wife who is at home. Why do we feel that, you know what, I'm really not going to pay attention to that? Why are we easily ignoring them? Why are we easily labeling our wives as, she is nagging, she is that, she just doesn't understand. But at the same time, we fail to teach them. We fail to guide them. We fail to engage with them. We fail to just share our thoughts and emotions with them. We fail to get to a point where we make them understand how life is, where it is, how things should be done. Why can't we commit to doing that? Why can't we commit? Because at the end of the day, we will have to. We will have to do it. It is our responsibility, and we are accountable for it. How long are we going to keep blaming our wives? And here's the funny thing is that we complain more about things which our wives can easily see solutions to. We do that, whereby you can see that here's a solution. This is what he can do. This is how he can do it. This is how he can love me. This is how he can get involved in the family. This is how he can support me. This is how we can do this. She can see that, but you can't see that. And whenever she tries to raise it, you just brush her off, or you put her aside, or you sideline her. Why? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Because at the end of the day, we are able to commit to things out there. We are able to commit to things out there. But why can't we do the same? Because our wives need us. They do. My brother, your woman needs you. Your woman needs you. There are cases here. I'm just going to share a bit of a story with a brother who called me and a friend of mine and said, I just want to speak to men, because I don't think like if maybe we have our women, they will understand exactly where we are. And when we got there, this is what happens. He just figured out that his wife is cheating. And they've been married for years. Let me just say they were married for 5 years. When they met, they liked each other, they were good together, everything was, lovey-dovey and everything. And then the guy got to a point of being comfortable, and he started thinking, I can't always be at home. This is not the life that I used to live. I need to sometimes go be with Lemajita and leave my wife, at home. Mistake number one. I know that a lot of guys like this, You wanna go to Chisanyama, you wanna go to places where you just wanna be with Majida, and then if she allows you the first time, the second time, and then you wanna do it more often, and then more often end up becoming every weekend. You leaving her at home with the kids. When you come back, you want food, you want that, and everything, life must just continue. Up until the lady found her own hobby, Stockfell. So now she started going to Stockfell at the weekends. On weekends, when he goes to Majita, he drives her to a Stockfell. And it became a routine. Bana, they're at home, maybe they are a little bit older, they can look after themselves, but every weekend, Papa, you're going to Mama, you're going to Stockfelling. Can you see that? So their weekends are no longer spent together. He takes her to the Stockfell. When she gets there, the friend from the Stockfell takes her to go elsewhere. And elsewhere is where she met this other guy. Now, the husband is actually taking his wife to a place where she feels rejected, abandoned, alone, because he is always lemajita hage. Now I'm always at home. Now the enemy starts to, fellowship with her. Oh, come on, you can enjoy yourself this side. Now, this friend knows what is happening this side. So when the guy comes and drops her on a Saturday morning and he goes to Chisanyama, Lemajita, then the lady takes her, because now the Stockfell is at different places. And when he found out, I just thought to myself, it's actually good to rather be open with a brother and make him understand that your existence in the marriage, your existence did not necessarily mean that you are present, did not necessarily mean that you are active in the marriage. Number one, you planted the seed of loneliness in your wife because you saw it fit that on weekends, during the week, both of you are working. Now, on weekends, instead of making time to spend together, you saw it fit that when you want to spend lemajita every now and then, you planted a seed. That is number one. And now you planted this seed, and now she is nurturing it. And she's nurturing it in a way that you are not happy because it's now no longer conducive for your marriage. Secondly, you contributed to this, not to cheating. You contributed to this behavior or to this seed that you planted because you are the one who was driving her to that place. You are the one who was driving her to a place where you've never even got in and say, Coco, how are you ladies and everything? Now this is me, it's fine, I'll fetch you later. When you just go there, you drop her at the gate and you go by your business. Look how you contributed to it. And believe you me, if God could ask you, he's going to ask you, where are you? He's going to come and ask you, where have you been? What have you done contributing to this particular situation? And that on its own made a brother to sit and think. But well, there's this common thing to say, yeah, but still, that doesn't mean that she was supposed to. No. It doesn't justify it. But at the end of the day, how did you contribute to it? At the end of the day, why did you do that? And he got to his senses and said, you know what? I see exactly where I've gone wrong because I've allowed a lot of things to just happen. Even when I'm no longer going to the gens or to a Chisanyama or to a Braai or anything, but with her, she will still go. And most of the time, you find that she's changing her looks. She's now a different person. She's buying new clothes. She's doing this. And that would happen. But then you are not paying attention as to why is your wife now starting to change her image, how she looks, how she walks, how she dresses, and things like that. you know. And sometimes you can see that how we understand the Stokvel, but a certain type of dressing doesn't seem like, hey, this one is for a Stokvel. I don't know about the Stokvels of today, you know, how you guys do them, how you dress up and things like that. But, you know, the common way of dressing going to a Stokvel, you know, those that are different, you know, those that are older would understand, no, we're just going there to chill as women, we're going to cook, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But hey, when your wife is all on makeup, nice stilettos, or maybe even dresses that now they start to reveal certain parts which you're not happy with, and you just allowed it to happen. You were not paying attention. And the worst case is that you continue to do what you have always been doing because you taught her this behavior. It doesn't justify the fact that she ended up being in another man's hands. But what it does is that it shows that as men, we need to be present in our relationship. We need to be present in our marriages. We need to be present in our homes. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that and just keep blaming our wives for their wrong behavior, while we seek no help, we seek no counsel, while we don't want to talk about it, unfortunately, it's going to come back to bite us. Why can't we pay attention? Why can't we get involved? Again, I'm sending an invitation. Don't be scared, guys. Don't be scared. Let's engage on this issue. Send your request. Let me get you in. Share your experience. Share your experience. It's not only for guys. Ladies, share your experience. Let us know, because we have to learn to do things differently here. We have to learn to engage with men, particularly, about the things that you know can actually help you as a lady, you know, to excel in the woman that you're supposed to be in his life, to do better, to learn and engage in a way that will help you to serve your spouse better. But you find yourself in a position where, you know, you feel like you're just abandoned. You feel like you're just rejected. You feel like you're just alone. Have you ever gotten to that point where, you know, you just feel like, I'm actually a maid to this guy. This is my husband, but I feel like I'm just a maid. I feel like he's happy when I just do things for him and in the house. But this guy doesn't care about what I think, how I feel, what I want to do, where I am mentally and emotionally, how I got there, and how I want to get out of there. Have you ever been in that position where you feel like somebody can just come and shake your husband and say, hey, wake up, be involved, be present in your wife's life, be present in what she thinks and how she thinks, be present. If you are hitting a brick wall, seek help. Be the first one to seek counseling. Be the first one to engage on the issues so that you can resolve them. Why do you always have to leave everything to her? I can tell you now, there's a lot of women, especially those that are very, very matured, they will end up taking the wheel. They will end up leading the marriage. They will end up doing things in the marriage. They will end up, because they are frustrated, because they don't want to be stuck in a place where it's not really encouraging them to be who they're supposed to be. A place where the husband is just as lukewarm as can be. A place where he just doesn't get things done. All he wants is just to sit and expect things to be done, leaving everything to her. Why is it like that? Norma says, I hear you, my sister. You know, that feeling is very, very, very toxic. Because I know that it's going to distract you from being the woman that you're supposed to be. It's going to distract you from serving and giving yourself in a way that will be fulfilling for the marriage. But you just find yourself in a position where, what else can I do? Because I've tried to talk to this man. Whereas when your wife is the one who keeps on seeking advice, she's the one. And you know what happens? Most of these guys would even not want to attend any sessions because the wife requested it. I remember my wife and I offered to go to another lady's house because she's been saying, hey, please come and help us, I need it. And I was like, you know what? Talk to your husband. If he's happy with it, if he's fine, we can come and sit and talk. We can come and share. We can come and guide and counsel you guys. And we went there. We spent almost 3 hours. First 30 minutes, she was talking and talking and talking. And when it was time for the guy to speak, he was like, huh? Oh, sorry. I'm only here because you guys are here. Because my wife asked me to be here. You see why we ended up getting to a point where we say, when a woman seeks help, we say, please ask your husband to contact me. It is basically for that particular reason, whereby we don't want to invade your men's space. We don't want to invade his comfort zone, because some of them end up being comfortable in those positions. They end up being comfortable in doing nothing, in not paying attention, in not getting involved. They end up getting comfortable. But why is it that we as husbands, we as men, we as brothers, we leave the need to seek solutions to our relationships and marriages to our women? Why is that? Because we can. We can ourselves. We are good out there. We fight crimes. We are firefighters. We police. We run businesses. We bring solutions in board meetings. We do it. We can do it. But we can bring solutions in our own homes. Why aren't we seeking help if we can't, if we are failing? Why aren't we inquiring with the right people just to make sure that things are working fine? Why do we want to be passengers in our relationships and marriages when it comes to resolving issues? Why do we wait for our wives to be the ones who seek help? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Why? If I know that my behavior or my conduct is not conducive for marriage, why don't I seek help before my wife can even sound an alarm? I know that some will say, yeah, but, sometimes you just don't know. It just happens. There's no such. There's no such. There are certain things that when you do, the spirit in you will say, you're not supposed to do that. There are certain things that when you even think about engaging in them, you will get that reminder that says, what dude? That's not what you're supposed to do. You can't do that. Change it. If it means when things are just happening, I'm sorry guys, I hope the sound is not distractive. If when you find yourself in a position where you feel like you find yourself doing things and you don't even understand, that is a sign. The moment you feel like I don't even understand, that is a sign that you need to do something. There are always glimpses of things that needs to be addressed. There's always some form of guide that says, do something different. There's always that voice in you that will say, hey, you can't. It's similar to when you're about to commit adultery or to cheat on your woman. It's that. There is always that element or that voice that will say, this is wrong. And one of the easiest way to know that this is wrong is because you have to hide it from your wife. You have to hide it from your partner. That on its own means this is wrong. I'm not supposed to do this. You know that. The moment you want to do anything that you want to hide, you must know that, no, this is wrong. I'm not supposed to do it. But we keep on doing it because we don't listen to the inner voice. We don't listen to the inner man who's always there to encourage us, who's always there to make sure that we walk in a path that will be beneficial for our marriages and our relationships. So, gents, we can't. We can't be at a point where we become just passengers in our own relationships and marriages. We can't be in a position where we just allow things to happen even though we are not happy with them. We can't be in positions where we are silenced over things that we know are going to break us. Why can't we just be the first to sound an alarm? Why do we always have to leave it to the ladies to run out to seek help? Why do we always have to do that? Whereas we can ourselves. Whereas we can. It can be that it is the woman's responsibility to make sure that the relationship is healthy and stuff. She's not in a relationship by herself. We are all in it. We are in the relationship. We are in this marriage. So if something happens, if it hits you first, seek help. Address it if it doesn't help. Counsel if it doesn't help. Engage if it doesn't help. Then seek mediation. Seek help. Ideas. Connect yourself with the right men, with the right brothers who are going to be able to say, no man, let's deal with this issue in this manner, because we know that it can be resolved. We know that it can help. But I can tell you now that one of the issues that we just fail to understand as a husband, some, not everyone, again, some, is the fact that we don't want to understand the importance of getting involved. We don't want to acknowledge that it is our responsibility to get involved. We don't want to accept that we have to resolve issues. We don't understand that we don't just have to apologize for the sake of peace, because that does not exist. Why can't we do things differently, Bafethu? Gentlemen, why? Why do we leave everything for our women? Why do we leave everything for our women? Why do we leave our women alone, stranded, having to fix everything? No, babes, we need help. Our marriage cannot go on like this. This is not on. Okay, seek counseling. Why don't you take the first step? Why don't you do that? And I can tell you now, you know that it is mostly women who go out there and talk about relationship matters. It is mostly women who would go out there and sound an alarm and seek help when things are not working in relationship or marriage. It is women. In most cases, it is women. Why is it not the men? And even when you are wrong as a man, even when you've done something wrong, be proactive. Be the first to say, you know what, love, I need help in this. I need your support. I need you to be there because I know that I've done wrong and I need to fix this. I'm going to seek counseling, but I need your support. I need you there. Hence, I'm saying sometimes a lot of wives, a lot of women are just expected to understand things which they don't even know where they come from, how they started. They are not even part of the process of those things happening, but they're just expected to understand, support your husband because you have to be an understanding wife. You have to be this. Why? Oh, maybe ask keys, man. As kids, we're going to have more of this. We're going to have more of this. Don't worry. We're going to have more of this. So yeah, thank you so much for having connected with me ever since it started. But hey, thank you. Have a good one. I wish there are men who can actually just engage and say, hey, I'm struggling now because of this particular issue. I'm not able to seek help. I don't know how to seek help. I really don't understand. So the best way for me to deal with issues when they happen is just to withdraw. Let's engage on that. I wish there were ladies who were saying, you know what, Bona, Naman, it's the case in my marriage, it's the case in my relationship. I really don't know how to address my wife. I really don't know how to engage with her. I really don't know how to deal with it. You're welcome, Mabi. You are very, very welcome. Thank you so much. You are welcome. So, I just want to know if we understand the importance of being active, the importance of being present, the importance of understanding that our silence is not helping, knowing and understanding that we need to engage more than we just exist in our marriages, in our relationships. Silence is not helping anybody. Silence is not conducive for the marriage, because I can tell you, it frustrates men even worse when the wife is silent. It frustrates guys even worse when the woman is silent. Imagine you are in a relationship with someone who just doesn't talk. Imagine, even for you as a man, you're gonna go crazy. A wife who doesn't talk, a wife who doesn't understand, who doesn't question you, who doesn't engage with you, speak when spoken to, and put yourself in that position. Put yourself in that position. So if you put yourself in that position, you will understand that no, I wouldn't want to be with me. Because even as a husband, you can say that. You can think like that. I wouldn't be with me. How am I? If I had to behave in that way, hi, me, hello. Norma says, I'm not sure if I put my numbers on my bio, but I can tell you that my email is there. And the website is also there. So if you can just check it on my bio, you will find it. Thank you so much. So sometimes we just need to be those husbands who are active and proactive enough to put ourselves in our wife's shoes, where you ask yourself, is this the husband that I would want to be with? Self-introspection is very important, guys. Self-introspection is very important. Is this the husband? Am I the husband to my wife that I would be happy to be? Am I the husband to my wife that my daughters would be happy to be with? Am I the kind of man that my wife can proudly talk about me out there with so much confidence, confirming that this is my man, I love him, I trust him, he's good to me, he's a great husband? Can your wife say that about you? If she can't, why? Because we can't be out here, blowing our own horns, like we are, the best, we are all good and everything. Whereas when you speak to your wife or your woman, they say a different story. That is not how things should be. But we are husbands. And as husbands, we need to make sure that we are involved. We are men to our women. We need to make sure that we are involved. We have to be intentional about it. We have to commit to it. We have to pay attention. We're going to have to do that. And it's just funny because when it comes to the issue of relationships and marriages, for us as believers, you know that Paul, even Christ, was talking to men most. They were talking to men most about every issue of life. They were talking to men. But nowadays, we just don't pay attention. We don't even want to engage with fellow men who are telling us or guiding us in the right path. All we want to do is to engage with those that are busy just brushing and nursing our egos, those that cannot really tell us the real truth about our behavior, our conduct, those that cannot really say, hey, that's messed up. Hey, now you're being childish. Hey, now you need to grow up. Now you need to be a man. Now you need to be a husband. Now you need to do things right. Now you need to behave right. You need to think right. We don't want to engage ourselves with those type of men. We don't. We always avoid them. We always ignore them. That's why I'm telling you, my friends know when they do something wrong, and I'm also at that point where I've got people that I account to. When they do something wrong, I'm like, but why didn't you tell me when the thought just dropped in your mind? Because right now you are in a position where I won't be able to help you. Because it happens. Especially with things like cheating. Because it takes a long process for somebody to do that. And I know that some people will say, yeah, with men, it can just happen at any time, but with women, it takes time. No, it doesn't. Not with men. Men don't just cheat. Men don't cheat and say it's a mistake. They don't do that. It is only when he becomes a male where he loses his sense of maturity, his sense of responsibility and self-control, his sense of self-awareness, that he steps into the maleness and now he sees something. And let me tell you something, this thing starts with a thought. There's no such a thing that he can go to a bar and then he sees a woman and say, let me just do it. And then after he's like, yo, what did I do? It was a mistake. There's no such. This thing is fed in our mind each and every day, wherever we are, however we are. If we entertain thoughts that we are going to end up doing it, believe me, you are going to do it. If you entertain thoughts like, if I find myself in that position, I won't be able to make it. Hey, I will fall. You are going to fall because you are creating an opportunity. You are presenting yourself with an opportunity that should it present itself, I'm going to do it. There's no way you can just do it and say it's a mistake. But now, have people around you. Have people around you whom you can contact whenever you're about to mess up. When you've got that pressure to do something that you know is not right, or to do something that you know is not going to be healthy for your marriage or is going to hurt your wife, have that man that you can call and say, hey, I'm having this urge, this is where I am, I can't, I just can't seem to think right and stuff like that. And then let that brother counsel you and tell you exactly where to get off, where to get rid of that damn thought or emotions or desire. Because we need that. Because that's one of the major problems as well. As a husband, we just don't seem to have men who are matured enough. We don't surround ourselves with such brothers who will be able to guide us, who will be able to give us good information. We want to listen to all the dumb males out there who are just say, hey, have yourself another woman. Let's go out. Let's go clubbing. Let's go do it. We're surrounded by a whole lot of males than we are men. There's a lot of males nowadays that are vocal and saying a lot of things than there are men who will speak sense to us. Men who will engage with us and teach us and guide us in ways that will still help us to retain our self-respect and integrity. And I can tell you now, you can source out those men and you will find them. Do away with these males. They're not good. So seek that help. Seek that help. Be the man. Get involved. Try it. Push it. Encourage it. If it doesn't help, then you seek help. If your ways, your method, your efforts, your ideas, your this and that are really not getting through to a difficult situation, find another brother who can hold you by your hand and walk with you and say, yes, you can make it. This is how you can do it. I love you guys, and I hope we're going to connect again with either the same topic or else with a different issue, because we're going to have to get our brothers in a position where we understand that we are needed more than we think. And our absenteeism in places where we are needed the most makes the males to take charge and therefore mislead our women, and they find themselves in a position where they feel like there are no men, no one understands me, they're just using me, they're all the same, they're this and that. And it's simply because as men, matured men, responsible and accountable men, it's either we are silent or we're just succumbing to the pressures of the males out there and keep on breaking and hurting our women. We can change that. We can change that, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. And thank you so much for connecting with me for the longest time ever. But yeah, I really appreciate you, and we will connect once again. Stay